There's an awful lot that cooking eggs can teach you about cooking. If cooking is the application of heat to food, then eggs as a particularly delicate food will tell you if you get it right or if you get it wrong. As one quick example, if you cook a custard right, it comes out sensual and creamy. Get it wrong and it comes out pitted and curdly and weepy and not very nice at all. I've got some eggs right here, and what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about how I chose them. I picked them up at the store, and you can see a broad selection of colors. Color is not an indication of quality. Color is an indication of breed. So if you like brown eggs, by all means, buy brown eggs. These are commercial eggs. These are farm eggs. What I looked for when I got to the store is the expiration date that was on the container. I think it's really important to know that quality in eggs is all about freshness. So check the expiration date and buy as far into the future as you possibly can. When you've chosen a carton of eggs, open it up and take a look and make sure there's no eggs that are cracked or broken. That's kind of important because they can start to spoil. If you have any cracked or broken eggs, put this one back on the shelf. If when you get home you have cracked or broken eggs, just take them and discard them. That's the safest thing. So we've got the eggs home now. First thing you want to do is put them right into the refrigerator. Eggs have been designed by nature to keep at room temperature. Otherwise, there'd be chickens sitting on spoiled eggs. But the white will begin to degrade a little bit over time. So it goes from being very viscous and clinging to the yolk to becoming more watery and spreading. Take a look here. I have an egg that has been around at room temperature for a couple of days. And I'm going to put it onto the plate. And then here's a fresh one that I brought from the store. You can see here how the white is clinging more closely to the yolk. Here, the white has spread a good deal more. You can see that the yolk here is beginning to spread. And it's apparent to me, if not to you, that this yolk is a little bit darker, fuller in color. I don't have a lot of watery whites on this egg the way I do over here. This is just a better quality egg. Now, let me set these aside. What I'll tell you is that when you buy eggs, sometimes they will be graded. So you'll see a grading. It may be labeled grade AA. Grading is done when the eggs are packed. So if the time they leave the packing shed to the time they get to you, they've been mishandled, a good quality or a good grade egg doesn't really mean anything unless it's been handled properly. So take the grading with a grain of salt. If it's there, it's not a bad thing, but you want eggs that are fresh, fresh, fresh. All right, let's get started cooking. What I want to do is hard boil some eggs for you. And I'm going to turn this heat up. I'm going to take some of these eggs, and what I want to do is lower them right into cool water. Now, be a little bit careful. You don't want to crack the eggs when you put them in. Okay? Now that they're in the water, I'm going to bring that water up to a boil. There may be a little bit of confusion, and that is that we call these hard-boiled eggs. I'm going to bring them to one boil, and then I'm going to turn the heat down as low as I can get it. And if they can be covered by at least 2 inches of water, so much the better. When they come up to that first boil and I turn them down, the clock starts ticking. For a large egg, like the eggs I have in here, I would count 12 minutes and then take them out and put them into ice water. If it were an extra large egg, I might go all the way up to 14 minutes, and for a medium egg, maybe down to 10. So, does size matter? In terms of quality, freshness matters, not size. But all the recipes that you read in cookbooks will usually call for a large or an extra large egg. All right. What I have here is some eggs that have been cooked, hard-boiled, brought to the first boil and then turned down very, very low. At 12 minutes, we took them out and we stopped the cooking by putting them right into ice water. Okay? So the cooking has stopped. I'm going to bring them over here and put them into another bowl of water. When I peel eggs, what I like to do is peel them at the sink and let the water flow between the shell and the egg. But we don't have a sink here, so let me do it this way. We'll crack them and then bring them right in, and as soon as you begin to peel away the shell, what will happen is the water will begin to flow between the shell and the egg, and it should separate pretty easily. I will tell you that fresh eggs are sometimes a little bit more difficult to peel, but these are doing just fine. It's worth closing your eyes and just feeling for shells. You may not see it because it's white on white, but you'll feel it for sure. So I'll set that aside. Here's another. These are great for adding to salads. You know, it makes a really terrific healthy snack to have some hard-boiled eggs on hand. And I'm going to show you a little trick in just a second so that you can distinguish between hard-boiled eggs and raw eggs. So, you go to the refrigerator and you're looking for a hard-boiled egg. You take this and you don't know if it's hard-boiled. You take this, you don't know if it's hard-boiled. And I'll even mix them up for myself. We'll put them back on the board. If you take it and spin it, if it's hard-boiled, it will spin really well, just like that. That's because the white on the inside and the yolk as well are firm. Take the raw egg and spin it, and it will not spin. You can see it doesn't like to. So, we'll set those aside. I'm going to take and cut these eggs in half with a sharp knife, and I'll show you what we have here. It's maybe important now that this has come to a boil just to turn it down as low as I can get it. I actually don't even have a problem if you turn it all the way off. As long as you've covered the eggs with at least 2 inches of water, there's enough heat there to cook them. All right, back over here. Let's take a look. The yolk is set but still moist. And if you've ever eaten an overcooked hard-boiled egg, it's dry, dry, dry. The white is set, but it's not rubbery. So it's set, but it's cooked very, very gently. This, I would say, is just about ideal. If you don't like that little bit of moisture there, then add an extra minute. If you want them a little bit more moist, subtract a minute. Now I'm going to make some deviled eggs from the eggs that we've just cooked. It's an easy thing to slip the yolks right out of the whites. You want to make sure not to break the whites because that's going to be the container that holds the filling. There we go. First thing we're going to do is mix in some mayonnaise. We want to mix this until the yolks have broken down, and we're looking for something that has a nice creamy consistency. Not too dry. Now, of course, we have to season it, and so in goes a little bit of salt. I'm not going to put pepper in this time because some people would say little flecks of black pepper really make this unattractive. Instead, what I'm going to do is add some Tabasco, and that will give us the peppery flavor that we're looking for. I want to add some mustard to cut through the richness of this preparation. So we'll stir the mustard in. And then if you like a nice savory flavor, maybe just a little splash of Worcestershire. It's as simple as that. You could add other herbs if you wanted. You could add basil, you could add chopped up tomato. Some people like horseradish in their hard-boiled eggs. I'm going to put some chives, not in here, but on top. And that way they'll show and it'll look very nice. You don't have to pipe these eggs. You can instead take a little spoonful of this filling and just spoon it into the eggs. Alternately, you can take all of that filling and put it into a little Ziploc bag and just cut the tip off of the bag. And then you can use this as a pastry bag to pipe in some filling. If you've got a proper pastry bag and you like the looks of a fluted appearance to the filling, you can put a star tip in there. I'm going to take and put some chives on the top of each. It's just a nice contrasting color. And these should go right into the refrigerator, or alternately, they should go right onto a plate and be served. So there you have it, hard-boiled eggs. This is really Egg Cookery 101. When we come back, we're going to make something a little more exalted. Poached eggs with hollandaise. Everybody likes to eat Eggs Benedict for brunch, but nobody's brave enough to make them at home. Today I'm going to try and give you a little bit of courage. We're going to make Eggs Benedict, and we need to start by making hollandaise sauce. Hollandaise needs a flavorful reduction, and so let's get that in the pan. I'm going to take about 3 tablespoons of water, and I'm going to take about 3 tablespoons of vinegar. I'm going to put in some minced shallots and 2 or 3 peppercorns. I'm going to put that over the heat, and I'm going to cook it until it's reduced by half. It won't take very long. I just want the flavor of that vinegar and the shallots and the pepper to be in the reduction. All right. I need 3 egg yolks. I've got 2 here already. Let me show you how to separate an egg if you don't know. Crack the egg and pull the shell apart over a bowl, and what will spill out first is the whites. Transfer the yolk back and forth between the 2 shells very, very carefully, and then transfer it to another bowl. So the white is here. I'm going to take these 3 yolks and put them right into a large bowl. For each of the yolks in this bowl, I usually use about a tablespoon of water. If you want, you can keep 1/2 of the shell, and for each yolk, put a 1/2 shell of water in. So 1, 2, and 3. If you look over here, our reduction is just coming to a boil. And we're going to bring it down, reduce it until it's